Or I guess I can. You can do it. I put two here. I put the static cam for Spencer here. I put the movement cam for center stage, covering that half the stage. This one takes the L brackets or the L cables because this side doesn't have enough space to take care of that. This guy's upstairs. I always stick a sandbag on it because it's so big that if somebody bumps into it, they'll knock it over. This is the only sandbag that's good. It's the one that I had from a while back. I put those guys on top, 4 here, 3 here. However, you can test that out at the start of the show. You can tell which ones go with which camera because this bundle has the extra cable plugs. So you got that one and this, and it all is part of that same bundle. As far as the breakdown on this one goes, I'll show you where the rest of this goes. So all this comes down at the end of the night, and when you come in, you'll find that it's bound up here. The whole trick is roll it into a circle and just kind of bind it up there as best you can so that you can have stuff hanging down. Pull that cable and over. And that's basically that for the cables. So they shouldn't get messed with. You can try to keep it so that they won't fall down over time so that they're not hanging down in other people's shows because they'll get irritated. Let me show you how this works over here. Okay, so we'll take this down and kind of walk you through it in reverse order. So, again, same things over there. In this case, it's kind of mirrored from what's over there. The movement camera's on this mount. This is the static one. This is Jeff's close-up. This is the wide for the main stage. Take all this stuff off so I can show you how the mount works. Okay, normally I don't keep these together, but fine. One thing I should also note while we're doing this is kind of important. I haven't been able to come in and take down the bad HDMI cables, but I have marked them. If you see a cable that's marked like this, that means it's a bad cable.
Yeah, I see your name all the time. It's good to work to
with these clamps.
Exactly.
I used to have Velcro on the wall, but when they did the meltdown, the Velcro came down, so I'm going to try to get in here to see if I can replace that in the meantime. If I can't, then essentially when you put these up, you're going to either have to ask for help, which is probably the best idea, or you're going to have to hold this thing against the wall with your chest. And those go around the sides, these two on the back. Keep the ends pointing out this way, because if they're pointing any other way, someone's going to bump into it, could potentially rip it off the wall, or they'll hurt themselves. Let's go to the back real quick and show you how that works. I'll take this down. Breakdown of this. Basically, how you always stand on a chair. You're supposed to do that when you set things up. One of these cables. I think you've probably seen or set this up yourself, but this is the static for the wide. I try to get coverage on. You can look at the other shots of the other shows to see it, but I try to get coverage on
1 row here, but trim this down to 5 rows. Okay.
It's this mount on the bottom, the big one. So it's different than the other ones. This is the only one that's kind of like this. And I put it on the center beam because the center beam seems to be clearance. When I came in over here, I usually hook the lights up. They block head space. When they came in and they did the meltdown, they ran these other cables lower than it had been done previously. So you might to get on a chair to fix it. Anyway, because that one will hang down the block Dan's head. And with these cables, at the end of the day, oil them up, tough, and those are done. So let's go ahead and cut this one down, and then I'll show you how to do the back room. So
Okay.
good stuff. All right, so quick notes on putting these things away, how I do it. When I get them out, I always put the caps in here on one side so I don't lose them during the show. Don't put them in your back pocket because it'll be too tough to find them later. Also, I leave the feet on the bottom so that I don't have to worry about setting those up. As far as this goes, 2 of them should have feet and 2 of them shouldn't. And the 5th one at the back should have a foot on it too, but you can't really get it confused with the other ones because it's so much larger. Normally, put them all in there, put this down, put the cables on top so they're not going to get damaged, and then I put a lock on it. So that's all for the camera part. Yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Okay, so this is the reverse breakdown of what we put up over in here. You've seen most of this happen, I just wanted to take you through it. Okay, over here, this is where the XLR cord goes in. I always take it from the left side, I wrap it around here. Got that giant cable there. Okay. Other end of it, you already know all this, but I usually plug this in first so I don't get confused on the back. So now, put the female in. Fine. Get that out. So this cable goes in the big box with all the stuff that is part of the cabling that is not actually a part of a camera. Okay, so this bit. 1 through 5, put them in 1 through 5 should be fine for when you're actually doing it. Go ahead and shut this guy down so I can unplug this stuff without any problem. Okay. You can have everything plugged into the back, but basically you also know the thing where I plug, I always put this guy in and turn it on at the start of the show so that if there's an update or something that's happened in the meantime, we can get whatever that is while the rest of the show is being set up. I then shut it down before plugging in the HDMI cables, and then I plug in the HDMI cables after it's turned off, and I plug in all of these cables and the rest of it, because I've noticed if you turn it on and you don't have all that plugged in first, for whatever reason, the program will drop settings for a bunch of it and just disable everything, and you have to go in, click on sub-settings to get everything turned back on. So the cable's on the back. Let's, you should come over for this, Sarah.
Yeah. Also that.
Yeah. Okay, so for the remote controls, if you're going to get into these, they generally I plug them in and then I test moving them around, because sometimes in all the confusion of getting the show set up, the one that's supposed to go on that side and vice versa gets confused, so I just plug them in and I see what is best. I put the one that moves the camera that's closest to this side of the screen on this side, and the one that moves the camera on that side, because when they get reversed, I always get confused, and then I wind up moving the wrong thing at the wrong time, and everyone on Reddit goes, why did that happen? So, on the actual back of this, you got your main mic cable, it's pretty standard. Now you're going to have a bunch of other HDMI cables as we have gone through things over time. Again, if they're marked like this, if they're marked like this, or if they got a squiggly like this guy, they're no good. The ones that are good have 5, I think that's a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going in order from, you know, according to the numbers it should be there. So it should be very easy to keep track of that. Take out the Ethernet. With the Ethernet, I try to always plug it back into their Roku box, because if I don't plug it into the Roku box, it inevitably falls on the floor somewhere, and over time I think that's going to be damaged. And then down here, we have the battery backup that we plug everything into, but down here I've basically set this up as 5 plugins into this strip that's also in the box with the mixer, or excuse me, the compressor. At the end of the day, I grab these, and I shove them under there comfortably far so they're not going to get stepped on or mangled in the interim. Plug that. And that essentially is it for breakdown in this room. As far as cables for the, as far as these guys for the remote controls, I always keep them up here in the bundle. At the end of the day, pretty standard, pretty clear. Run these guys up, loop them as they need to be, and then use the Velcro that's always here.
Dancing? I wasn't even dancing.
You did what?
And then
He's supposed to be dancing or something.
And then, yeah, you just basically wrap it like that, or some way so that it doesn't fall everywhere. I didn't do a very good job. Oh, it'll be better when you get here. Anyway, you got the idea. We'll wait to stop recording. Quick note, this is where I put boxes during the show because they're out of the way. It's right next to the concession stand. It's right over there. No one seems to mess with stuff, so that's why I put it here.